Technical Corner, we're joined by Shane Grieverson from Halter CNC. Now, they are well known for their product range, which is robot arms. Now, they've recently increased those from 6 robot arms to 9 robot arms. But when you're thinking of investment, I think one of the first decisions you have to make is, well, a look at is return on investment. Now, Halter have got a fantastic system, program essentially, for working out what your return on investment is. Shane, pretty much over to you. You're going to talk us through it, showcase what you can do and why I buy a Halter CNC robot arm.
Thanks, Colin. So what I'll do is I'll just show you now. I'll move over to the Load Assistant, the return on investment calculator, what we've got. So as you can see, what we've got is we've got a series of questions here, 8 questions in total. So if we start to, obviously we'll start at number 1.
Okay.
So what
we're
asking
is it's only 8 questions.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's only 8 questions. That's all it is. It's just for the customer to answer in to the best of their knowledge what they've got, so we can actually go through it and just show them some payback period. Okay. So the first question is how many operator hours. Now we base this on a single shift, 1 operator, because that's what we're looking to do.
Yep.
So we work that out as actually 47 weeks because they've got, obviously they have to have holidays, which the robot doesn't. That's another reason why we're looking at robots as well. So if we say that they do 40 hours a week over 47 weeks, that works out to 1,880 hours. So that's the number 1 answered. So during these regular hours, how many spindle hours does your operator manage to keep the machine running on an annual basis? This is where the customer thinks how efficient they actually are, and be realistic efficient. If we're being honest, the standard shop, if you're looking at subcontract shops, they'd probably be 50% efficient probably.
Wow, that is a controversial figure, I'd say, Shane, because
it is controversial, but that's going off the back of actual customers saying to us that's what they think they are as well.
So 50%, okay.
Yes, but that sort of says that a lot of time it's not just because they're not efficient. They might be running 3 machines at once, and then they're going to check on a CMM, all them type of things. So we have to bear that in mind at 50%. It could be 60%. We've had some up at 70, some way down. Off their MRP, they've worked down to 40%. So we just try and balance it out. If we say round about 50.
But so this program is interactive, so we can, once we see the results, we can change it up and down.
Yes. Well, what we can do is what we do at this point. Once we've finished all these 8 questions, we'll actually email this to customer, and when they haven't got me staring at them and talking to them, they can actually change the numbers to suit how they think it is on their business, and change the return on investment if they want to have a machine involved and everything, all like that. So.
Excellent.
So number 3, so how many spindle hours can you achieve on that normal working time? So in them 40 hours, if we add a robot into the mix, how much more do they think they'll get out of it? So he's obviously not going to check on a CMM. It's actually running while he's working on the machine. What we've got is, through research, this tends to be a 30% uplift.
Right.
So you'll be talking round about 1,250. That's the difference on that one now.
So when you say
900.
Just to clarify, when you say 30% uplift, so you're going from 50% to 80%?
No, it doesn't work like that. You're doing 30% uplift of 50. So you're actually going up to 65.
Okay. No, I just wanted to clarify that, Shane. That's fine. Brilliant. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a 30% off of what you're currently working at.
Yep. Okay, so next question, but also these numbers, I mean, I suppose you did allude to it earlier. This is from feedback from customers. Where are you getting these numbers from?
Yeah. These are, for all the systems what we've sold, these are the type of numbers what we try and interrogate to make sure we try and let the customer get the best out of it. What we'll do is, as we work through this, we actually try and pull numbers down so they get more of a worst case scenario on the return on investment, rather than trying to pull it up and say, well, actually you could get this. What we're trying to do is give them a realistic return on investment.
Right. Okay. So these figures are factual, based on experience you've got today, not like made up figures, and they're also not pessimistic but realistic, I'd say.
Yes, that's exactly realistic. So we're not being over optimistic, which is what we want to be.
Yep.
Because if we do that and then they get a return on investment way out, these aren't set in stone figures, but what these are, that we're giving them, if you actually look to automate and you can get these figures and you try and run it properly, you can achieve the return on investment and what we've actually discussed in the first place.
Well, you want to achieve it or overachieve it, absolutely.
Yes, of course you do. Yes, absolutely. Number 4 is the big question where you're looking now. if you want to run it outside working hours, how many extra hours do you think you're going to get out of it? Now, this is where what we would do is I'd probably ask the customer to show me three of their big running parts, or 3 parts they want to automate, not necessarily big running parts. We'll get average cycle times. We'll have worked out how many parts will sit on the system itself. And from that, then we can work out some extra hours. So if let's say they want to get, even if they get 6 hours a night out of the 5 days, so that's 30 hours a week. So if they do 30 hours a week for 47 weeks, that's an additional 1,400 hours worth.
Okay.
Now, what I'll do at this point, we'll probably knock off. We'll probably just say 1,200 rather than going right to the end of it.
Yep.
So we'll just do 1,200 hours. The next question off that is the actual investment amount. We'll leave this in at 90,000 for an average, an average robot price. So that sits in there. How long do they want to run it for? Capital equipment, usually financed over 5 years if they are financing it, so they write it off after 5 years. So that's what the customer usually says there, 5 years.
Right.
These last two figures.
Sorry, just to interject there though, saying run it for 5 years, but these, I mean, the robot, it's a FANUC robot, Siemens control, yes. The 6 sort of monitor for the area, things like that. So great product. So 5 years, I mean, you can expect longer, I should imagine.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
The FANUC robot is easily good for 20 years. They're a sealed unit, not a problem at all.
Yeah.
Like you just said, we use all the high-class ancillaries on the robot for 2 reasons. 1, for reliability, obviously, because that's what you want. And 2, so they're readily available if, for any reason, any of them do fail. You don't have long lead times if you have a problem. They're just easily replaceable, and then you're back up and running again. Brilliant. So that's why them type of ancillaries are used on it.
Okay, so question 5 or 6 now, sorry.
So, 6 was how many years do you have it write it off, usually 5. Now, the 7 and 8, basically, these come to, if you're a subcontract shop, what do you sell your hourly rate at? So, let's say £50 an hour combined, £50 an hour. So, cost for an operator, we'll say 15. Cost hourly rate of your CNC machine, we're going to say 35. So, that's £50 an hour. So what you've got there, if we go on the side here, look, it says a payback period of 15 months.
15 months?
Now, 15 months, that. Just over 15 months for a payback period.
Wow.
So, I mean, the figures we put in there are very generalised figures. We can swap them about. If the customer thinks they're more efficient, then you better go a bit more. So let's just say 1,200, 17 months. So we've lifted up their efficiency there, obviously extra hours, 1,250. So it gets to a point, if they say they're that efficient anyway, what they're using the robot for, if it's just purely for outer hours work, that's how they can balance it up. Once they've got the configurator, and they can interrogate their MRP system better then and see how efficient their machines are and where they can actually make the gains. That's what they're looking for.
So I'm just, again, blown away by that return on investment figure. And it's a great system. So you can have the initial discussion and set out what is required, but then you will email that to customers so they can actually then tinker around with it and actually massage it, amend it, and,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, obviously, they might feel, not all, but some feel a little bit under pressure, when you're asking them questions and you're firing questions at them, and they're better in their own environment when they can just sit and analyse data properly. Because what we're trying to do is, by putting a robot in, what you're wanting to do is make your company more efficient, more productive. So if you find a starting block where you think you are now and where you want to get to, it gives you a goal to achieve. And what you'll find is that the robot will just keep loading. The machine might stop, so it's probably run out of coolant. A tip might have gone. Swarf conveyors, it's chewed up because these balls are swarfing, and that's where the operators are not operators anymore. They're more process engineers. So he actually upskilling them to actually make sure that the machine is running and the robot is running.
Yeah. That's what you want. These guys are trained engineers. They don't want to be just loading a billet all day, every day.
Absolutely not, no.
Shane, absolutely brilliant. It really is. I'm blown away. 18 months return on investment, if not better. So if anybody wants to find out more about Halter CNC, your robot arms, and your return on investment, get in contact with yourself at Halter CNC, and then you can play around with that program and see what return on investment you can get. Shane, anything else to add?
No, obviously, you know where I am. You want to talk anything automation, I'm happy to help. We can do a return on investment online on the Teams if you require, or I'm happy to visit as per, restrictions, and
Brilliant.
that's
Shane,
not a
thank you
problem.
very much. Halter CNC Robot Arms.